Getting phased in on just feels unfair. Like, you might be the best player in the lobby or have the best loot you've ever gotten, but someone just unexpectedly glitches in and now your game is over. This is how to stop that. 1. Leave cones outside of your box. You can either open up and edit on every single wall and put a cone outside and stay somewhat protected, or you can do what I like to do and actually do it from inside your box. Kind of like this nice sunflower pattern. You can even do this from inside your box if you're on some uneven ground. When you're on the ground, you can clip cones underneath if you align your crosshair up right here. The reason to have cones outside of your box is so enemies can't stair phase into your box. Or if they did, they'd have to break said cone, giving you enough time to edit on them and shoot. And this is good because they'll likely have their pickaxe out, breaking that cone. Of course, by occupying every piece outside of your box, that means the enemy can't place their own pieces in there to either phase in or to pre-box you in piece control outside. This is just a generally good thing to do to cover all of your bases so you're not getting piece controlled. For example, maybe they do end up phasing into your box somehow. If you have pieces outside, such as these cones, you can use them as protection when running away by either editing them up or just making sure that the enemy doesn't get a piece underneath you. There's even an argument to be made to have full boxes outside of the one you're in instead of just cones. If you have full boxes outside, you can easily retreat into these and the enemy's not gonna dare go into them to try to get their own pieces to phase. So if you're worried about your front being phased in, then build a box on your front and the enemy won't dare go into it because they'll be walking into a box filled with the enemy's pieces. And side note, I fixed my PC now, but it was broken for a minute there, hence the slower than usual output of videos, but invest now because I'm posting back to back to back this week. Disclaimer though for this cone tip, this trick only stops the stair phase. Enemies can still momentum phase into your box. In high ranks or against really good players, you still need to watch out for this. The momentum phase is of course when enemies time their shot perfectly while walking through your wall. It's not necessarily hard to learn, but if you mess it up, you can die pretty easy, so a lot of lower rank lobbies you don't see it, hence why this cone trick will work 95% of the time in lower ranks. But I get it, that's not good enough for you. You want to stop them from phasing, including the momentum. Well, here you go. Number 2, the U-ramp. You have to be very careful with how you use this in-game because of how wonky the structure is, but it's also heavily underutilized. When was the last time you used this? It's a perfectly good edit that many people sleep on, and it's the perfect edit to stop phase tricks. This is the only middle tile piece that can act as a second wall. Everyone discovered early that 2 middle tile pieces could replace each other, that of course being the ramp and the cone ramp. And then people stopped exploring these centerpieces, not realizing that the backside of the U-ramp is like a second wall. So if an enemy phases through your first wall, they'll get smacked by your second wall, or the U-ramp. This again might seem awkward, but it's also just a valid centerpiece. The edit shots with the railing go crazy too, you're so protected. The only downside of this trick is that the railing doesn't face every direction, but it still does a pretty good job. Your front is completely blocked. I mean, look at the angles this gives you. With Peeker's advantage, you can crouch up and easily hit a shot. Of course, you have to be careful not to shoot your own U-ramp, since it does have a wonky hitbox, but if you can hit your shots, this is a phenomenal centerpiece, and it's slept on. Again though, you just have to look out for your sides and your back. Both sides actually have really good protection though, even though it is only partial blockage. When you're facing this side, if you're going to go on the right-hand side, you will get blocked. That little half balcony is where you're jumping, so if you try to phase, you will get blocked. Of course, if you're still facing this and you go on the left-hand side, you still can get through the top, and that's because of course the ramp will connect on the bottom on this side, but if you go onto the other side, it's actually not that much of a problem. This side, you almost have full blockage. Technically, it's still partial, but if you're going on the left-hand side, you'll get blocked on the center balcony just like the other one. But on this one, since the stair actually connects to the top, it's really hard to phase through this. You have to get the perfect corner just to squeeze by, so it's almost impossible to do. So that means you almost have 2 full sides of complete blockage, 1 side of partial blockage, and all you have to worry about is the back. But if you get quick enough with this, you can change the direction of it or reset it easily. But I get it, you may just want to stick with the regular ramp, or not the U-ramp. But you're probably still not using those regular pieces completely optimally. This is more of a half tip, but if you see someone about to phase into your box and can feel it coming, a lot of people will put a ramp down or will edit their cone up in case the enemy does phase in. This does give you an extra layer of protection while you escape, right? Wrong! Well, okay, it does, but it's not being done in the best manner. Instead of facing that cone or ramp towards them, face it backwards. So either turn around and place a ramp or edit your cone's back tiles. This is just quicker, but the advantage of your centerpiece facing this direction is they can't as easily phase through this one. Say you face your stair in the OG direction right towards the enemy. They can walk right up to it, and once their head gets against the stair, the next time they break it, it'll turn into a yellow phase build. But if you face it backwards, they have to walk up to it or even crouch up to it. Once they break it, they'll have gravity pulling them down, they might still be crouched, and all of this will just mess up their crosshair placement and you can get an easy shot on them. This is also just an easier stair to hold if you rotate your stairs and look back, because their head won't be phasing through. Again, it's just a small tip, but anything to prevent the phases. And to dive a little deeper into that, phases are a permanent part of this game. They are almost unavoidable, so the tips in this video will focus on prevention as well as capitalizing on phase-hungry players. Like, I want to show you how to kill these players every time, even if they force that 50-50. So this video isn't about stopping the phase, it's about beating it, hence the title. The best way to beat the phase trick is by swapping places with them. I've talked about this trick in 1 or 2 of my videos, but it's so important to know. The enemy thinks that by phasing in, they are forcing a 50-50, but what they don't know is if you phase out, they are now fully boxed and that 50-50 turns into a 99-1 in your favor. Just make sure to get that wall that you both phase through. And if you're exiting the box too, I guess it's not really a phase since you're not holding the wall anymore. But just make sure when you're outside to get that wall to have them fully boxed. This is how you beat the phase trick. Don't let them surprise you, you gotta surprise them. And this can be hard to get the timing right, but just look for them putting a stair down outside of your box, or them prepping your wall with a spray weapon or pickaxe. And when you see them getting that momentum or jumping into that stair, that's when you make your move. The last tip I have for you guys is what I like to call the Reid the Ninja Classic. This has won me countless fights where I was on the ropes. I'll tell you that right now, but please drop a like if you've been enjoying and invest in the channel for more tips like these. I saw a lot of you guys said you made the Cash Cup finals because of my videos and were using code reidtheninja to thank me, so thank you. And congratulations! If you learned something new in this video, please use my creator code or just support another small creators so we can break out onto the scene. But the final tip in the Reid the Ninja Classic is to absolutely launch yourself out of your box at them like a cannon. And unlike tip 3, this is completely unprovoked. Instead of waiting for them to try and phase to jump out, just do it way early. Like if I box up, I'll see them put a stair outside of my box, and knowing they're about to jump down onto it, I'll just send it at them. And usually they'll be so surprised and whiff their shot, and I can either hit some good damage or just take height and move on to another layer. I know a lot of people do this now and it's been in the game forever, but back in chapter 1 season, what was it, 2? I swear I was the only person doing this, and I do it today and it still works. Hence the Reid the Ninja Classic name. If you want to learn some more cool edits, this video is how to master the exposed wide edit like all the pros do. You know what I'm talking about. Or if you're just in that ranked mood, this is how to adjust to each new lobby as you rank up. Drop a like if you've enjoyed, invest in the channel, and we're getting close to 12K. And please use code reidtheninja or another small creator's code to help out this growing little small YouTuber web that I'm seeing. Thank you for watching, and on that note, I am signing off.